Lexi, Fennec, Miller, February 14th, 2035. 4th journal entry. The alarm went off at the crack of dawn, and the Avenger went into full lockdown. We got our hands on the first weapons and pieces of gear we had in our quarters, on a first-come, first-served basis. Advent was very smart about it. They cut off the power supply, so the ship was running on backup generators. The utmost priority became closing off the med bay, where all the injured and the staff that managed to escape and couldn't contribute to the defense of the ship were huddled up. We split into small teams of 2, 3 at most. One team stayed behind to defend the med bay. The rest of us split between getting to the armory to get better gear and weaponry, and keep it out of Advent hands. The research lab, so they wouldn't get a hold of our progress into their biology, and the engineering lab also, for information security reasons. I was part of the team who got the order to reach the armory, accompanied by Heretic. For some reason, recovered very fast from his physical injuries, and the barman. A grenadier and a sharpshooter with pistols. This Heretic was the only one who was carrying his preferred weapon. The man practically sleeps with the sword under his pillow. As we got to the armory and got the goods, we heard screaming from the engineering lab, just 2 levels below the armory. We took a shortcut through the floor by means of carefully controlled explosions, as the door had been sealed shut from the outside. We jumped down through the rubble with Heretic first, myself second, and the barman in tow. As we feared, some of the staff members did not make it to the med bay. Everything was eerily quiet, as if we hadn't actually been attacked by the Advent. The only things I could still hear were the sound of rubble still settling and my heart beating in my ears. That surge of adrenaline that consumes a soldier on the battlefield, enough to get one out of almost any situation. Fight or flight is what civilians know. For most of them, shooting and killing someone is unfathomable and scary. Soldier mental reprogramming actually makes it abundantly clear that, in actuality, it's very easy. No other animal, other than us, feels remorse when killing another creature. People knew how easy it was to kill someone and get away with it. We'd be killing each other for sport. What happened next is a blur. It does not make much sense. And it should have been the second indicator of things not being real. In a storm haze, Heretic was pinned to a wall with his sword through his chest, throwing expletives profusely. The barman had been thrown across the other side of the engineering lab and was trying to get up, and I was next. I was on my knees looking up to the Advent officer. 2 Advent troopers were making their way to the barman. Another trooper and a sectoid were overwatching Heretic. My gun had been somehow removed from my hands in the haze, and I was a sitting duck when I heard the distinct sound of a rifle bullet passing through the air. The sectoid that was trying to mentally control Heretic was put down by the barman. Seeing an opening, Heretic grabbed his sword and pulled it out of his chest abruptly. No blood came out, aside from the orange goo that Advent spews when it's cut to the shreds by a well-sharpened sword. Heretic looked towards me, and we both nodded. He turned around to make his way to the other side of the room, from which his saving grace came. A struggle ensued between myself and the Advent officer, who had let down his guard due to the commotion. All my years of hand-to-hand combat paid off. The officer lost his weapon and his helmet in the fight. He grabbed my neck, squeezing it tightly, and as I was staring at his face and recognizing it, I clutched my hands at the base of his neck and just fell backwards, pushing his head to the floor in the ensuing motion. I recovered fast and got on top of the enemy, grabbing his head and just pounding it against the floor, no questions asked. The swooshing sound of a sword cutting the air and blood spilling filled the other side of the room as I kept bashing the officer's head on the floor. He was still squirming when I got up, grabbed his weapon, came back, rolled him over, and with my foot and stared into his huge eyes, I shot the officer in the face, fully aware of the fact that those eyes had stared at me years ago when I put down my partner and Carabinieri squad mate. He had been reanimated. I woke up in a cold sweat in the med bay after the last operation. My mouth opened as if I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. It had all been a dream. I had killed him twice, and if need be, I'd kill him 100 times still. Lexi, Fennec, Miller.